You
There we
ready?
go. Oh,
Well, I'm already recording, Andrew.
oh,
Okay.
that didn't work.
So
No,
this is it's all yours. So take it away.
no, gotta be some. That just there we go.
All right. Martina, you're going to kick it off, though, remember? And then I get to have fun with it. So that means you got to unmute and start your bit.
Thanks, thank you, Randy. I needed that little help. Um, okay, geez. Um, so we're here tonight to for a Southern Branch town hall meeting. Um, I'm here with your branch officers, Andrew Carr, Rusty Smith, and myself, Martina
Good evening.
Murphy from the baseball field. So I'll be quick. But we were interviewing tonight Dermot and Dermot Palmer and Hannah Boyles, who will be at the North Carolina Tenor and Bass Workshop in February. So take it away, Andrew.
Thanks, Martina. Have fun at the ball game.
Yep.
So first off, thanks, guys, for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it. I know we like to get some information out there.
Good evening and welcome to Lloyd E. Almond
advertise
Stadium,
our-
home of the Fighting Falcons. Tonight,
And as we mute the Falcons, we will then procead on. As we were saying,
I can mute and unmute people as I see fit. So I just muted her because of the announcement.
and that's what you get.
This is like Outer Limits. I am in total control. So I'm muting myself now, Andrew. So it's now you.
No worries. You're good, Martina. Enjoy the ball game. So, hey, again, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. We like to share events that we have throughout the branch. And obviously, you guys are hosting something very valuable. Just want to start off, Dermot, just tell us a little bit about yourself and your background, if you don't mind.
Well, my wife had joined the pipe band, Jamestown Pipe Band, and they were after me for the longest time to learn to play either bass or tenor. And about the same time Hannah started, I started. So we became great friends from the beginning because I was the old man that was looking like a wounded duck, and she's the graceful swan. So we've both been doing it probably about 15 years and just trying to improve year after year.
Okay. So your guest tonight is Hannah. Hannah, could you kind of explain a little bit more for everybody so they know your background as well?
Yes, I started around when I was 11, and I started playing in the Grandfather Mountain Highlanders here in North Carolina. And then I went to college for percussion and music education. And I then moved to Florida to play with the city of Dunedin grade 2 at the time, and then went on to play with the city of Dunedin grade 1 in Florida. I have now moved back to North Carolina, so back in the area, and I teach music and work at a high school. But I have traveled all over the world for tenor drumming. I wrote at the Virginia International Tattoo, snare, tenor, and bass. But what Dermot has created in Greensboro is just very unique for the tenor and bass community, where he brings together people whose focus is not just drumming, but the education portion of drumming and percussion. So Dermot and I have worked closely together since I was 15 and I'm now 28. So we've been doing this a little bit together.
Gotcha. That's great. So speaking of the workshop, so what prompted the creation of this workshop in Greensboro? Was there just something you guys saw was like a glaring hole that needed to be filled?
Well, I had gone to Sandy Jones's school And we actually were going to have a mallet making shop with the late Bob Mead. And we had gone to Stone Mountain and saw just how many tenor drummers needed basic instruction first before even going on doing something like mallet making. So we sat there, and it took about a year and a half before we put it together, talking to people like Hannah and Tyler Fry and Tim Marchants and Emily Bell-Fleur and Mike Cole. And from there, we just started putting things together, and we looked for a place to have it. We thought about Florida, but my wife wouldn't let me make all these trips to Florida, so to scout out places. So Greensboro was it. And we ran into a person that helped us with the hotel, gave us a great deal. So we got started, and we've been growing ever since, up until COVID. And so we're starting over again.
Okay. So what are the average numbers you guys have been seeing each year? Are they steadily increasing?
First year we had 42 people. The next year we had 53 people, and the last third year we had 65. And then COVID hit, and we started again last year. We had 40 people.
Wow. That's pretty awesome. So how far have
And-
people come from just to attend that workshop?
We've had someone come as far as California. Yeah, in Ohio. And when we say 40 people for a workshop, you have to remember this is just tenor and bass drummers. And that's a good number for a pipe camp with pipers, drummers, of all kinds. And this is just tenor and bass. So that's a large number of that community represented.
Yes,
especially in the Eastern United States.
that's pretty impressive just for one weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I know there's been a recent event that literally had, on one hand, competitors, which is sad to hear, but at the same time, we understand things, life, family, it all happens to us all. So, but that's pretty amazing, especially the numbers you guys are able to get. I know workshops used to be a big pull back in the day. Rusty used to head one up down in Atlanta as well. That was world renowned, and you kind of see where that is now. So it's really great to see a workshop being held and flourish and grow each year. That's pretty impressive. So what is this workshop kind of steered towards? Like who is it aimed towards? Is it beginners? Is it
Beginners and intermediate tenor drummers.
okay?
That's why we have so many instructors. If you look at a lot of workshops or camps, they might have one tenor instructor and one bass instructor. We've had 4, sometimes 5 instructors. So we can break it up into different topics and keep everyone on the same level of that they're comfortable with. So beginners are with beginners, intermediates are with intermediates.
Okay,
Yep.
gotcha.
And I will say, to add to that, if someone considers themselves a professional or above intermediate anyways, I still think this is a good workshop for them, because the only thing that distinguishes someone from a beginner to an intermediate to a professional is how well they do the basics and how they apply those basics. So with all the different learning styles that we have in each classroom and all the different instructional styles, don't count it out if you think that you're above an intermediate. Because I will say something the instructors at this camp do a very good job of doing at this workshop. It's called the zone of proximal development. They're able to look at a classroom and determine something that's easy to where everybody can get it, something that challenges, and then something that's maybe challenging for the top tiers in the classroom. So where not everything's easy, not everything's challenging, like really challenging, and then not everything's just straight in the middle. They're able to jump in this, it's called a zone of proximal development. And it's how you kind of structure a classroom. And so that every instructor that Dermot and I work with, they're very good at picking out what are those levels like in the classroom that they're teaching.
Gauge your audience pretty quick. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good. That's good. So speaking of that, so that's two different tracks. So let's say I'm a beginner. I don't want to play the pipes anymore. I'm putting them down. I want to learn the tenor. What could I expect if I'm coming to the workshop and I've never done this before? Or my mom says, guess what? You're 40 something years old and you're learning the tenor. What do I need to do and what am I going to learn?
You won't be alone. You're going to be with people that are in the same boat. We actually have had a few pipe majors come just to learn a little bit about what they're supposed to be singing in their band. But so you won't be alone is one good thing. So you'll find your people. And then if you can picture it, it's a whole room of people wanting to learn something. So no one in there is thinking that they already have it. So if you're starting over, you're starting from the beginning, you're among everyone doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll be challenged. And by the end of that first day, your brain's going to explode. But we allow videos and everybody's very comfortable like being contacted after the workshop if you need something reviewed. But I definitely think it's a great place to make connections too. Dermot, do you have anything you want to add? Sorry, I'm talking a lot.
No, that's why I asked you to join us, because you're the instructor. I'm just pointing two directions. So
he's the master of the helm. Don't let him fool you.
We try and get a feel of what people need beforehand, and I will share it with the instructors. So like if there is a class on how to need to read music, we'll have Hannah teach that. Tyler is an awesome teacher when it comes to flourishing, starting with the basics. I actually went to Atlanta's workshop just to see him teach a beginner class with little kids and adults, and it was awesome to see how well he worked with them. And I've known Hannah, I mean, we had Hannah come work with the band. I think we were the first band ever to hire her to come work at the ripe old age of 15 because her mom had to drive her.
Yep. And for the record, my mom still goes with me everywhere. Nothing's changed.
So what about the event? What would they kind of, I mean, I know you guys would gauge kind of like where they're at and what they're needing to learn or work on, but what are some of those techniques or some of the things that they might get out of the workshop?
So the best way to look at it is like combinations. Flourish is how we can put them together, how we fit them into the music that they already have, how they write their own solo. Because I'm a fan of someone, if you're going to show up and play a solo, it needs to be written by you because you're the one who knows your ability the best, or you and your instructor together. So how do you take that back to your band and apply it to what you already have? So they're going to be not just absorbing the information, but then using it in practical application.
So you would teach them how to write it as well.
Mm-hmm.
How to do that. Okay.
And how it needs to sound bass and tenor together as well. So more ensemble focus as well.
That's pretty awesome. I won't tell you how many that I sat by somebody and they couldn't read music or write the basic notes. So that's pretty impressive. You know, it's always, people are afraid to say, I don't know how to do that, or ask, can you help me? Hey, if you learn one thing out of a class or a session, that's something you take away from that opportunity. If you don't ask or kind of, you know, throw yourself out there, you're never going to improve. So don't be bashful. Just say, I don't know how to do that. I can't read that. What is that? Your handwriting's horrible. You know, just ask. Don't be bashful. I mean, even get some new glasses so you can see things. Who knows?
I will say, I specialize in teaching elementary music. So my approach to teaching beginners how to read and music, things like that. It's called rhythm pies. And so we start with, we don't count it, but we do it first with like pie and cherry and watermelon and strawberry and things like that. So everyone gets familiar with it before so it becomes kind of a
Talking about
joke
adult
around
drinking games. That's
Mhm.
adult drinking games, isn't it?
Yeah, well,
I,
can turn
I
into that, yes.
I do have a question I would like to ask. What's the breakdown of bass drummers and tenor drummers you all have had in the past? Because I know that there's been a real emphasis lately since COVID on tenor drummers because a lot of bands lost tenor drummers because of COVID. Fortunately, bass drummers tended to stick around, but tenor drummers found other things to do. So I know you all. So getting back to my question, how many of each category have you all had in the past on this?
Well, we've had, I think last year was 8 bass drummers. We've had as many as 15. And so that's anywhere from 30 to 50 tenor drummers, divided almost equally between beginners and novice. And the other thing is, it's not just competition bands we want coming and learning. It's public service bands. It's, I guess, what you'd call street bands that basically perform parades and concerts and stuff, but never compete. And they're all made to feel welcome. Therese Camp from NC State put it nicely that egos are checked at the door. We're all there to have fun and learn. And everyone is welcome, is made to feel welcome.
So let me kind of tie back into the competitive aspect. I'm always intrigued by initiatives that are kind of set out. Some that are favored, some that aren't. But how does the new use of a grading system for tenors and bass kind of play into what you guys have seen with the workshop in the recent years? Has it helped? Do you guys see a benefit? I'm just curious.
It's hurt solo competitions for games because there's been a marked drop in people competing. I don't know if Hannah's seen the same thing.
I feel like the struggle is getting a video graded or knowing how to go about that. A lot of people are hesitant to record themselves but prior to competing or getting ready for something or not knowing where to start because they don't know where they're supposed to be. However, we are as instructors and in my private studio, we are pushing students to get ready for that. But if you don't have someone to play to, or if you don't have the means to record that, outside of your band, for those who are looking to compete in solos but don't have a piper and a drummer, it's difficult. It has hurt what we had before as represented in the solo competition, but we are making it is part of our I would say the agenda of the workshop and of the instructors to encourage solo competition.
So you think it's more of the recording piece or just having a piper?
Having a snare drummer.
Having a snare drummer. Now, personally, I love that we should play with a snare drummer. I think that's wonderful. Do I think it's feasible every time? No, but as a drummer first, I do agree that tenor drumming and bass drumming can only improve having the presence of a snare drummer to play off of.
So for a bass to compete or a tenor to compete, you have to have a snare and a piper.
Say that again?
So we're saying that a bass to compete solo, you would have to have a snare and a piper to accompany them.
Above grade 4 and above. Grade 5, all you need is a piper.
Gotcha. Now for tenors, same thing or just
Same
type of-
thing.
Same thing.
Yep.
Okay.
But
I could see where that could cause some issues. Yeah, especially when you
part
have
of
for band competitions later in the day. I'm sure.
talking to folks at games and stuff, we're actually going to have someone there that has his own podcast, Russell Davis, and he's going to bring his video camera, and we're going to talk about making videos, possibly do a few videos for people that want to submit solo gradings that haven't done it in the past.
Okay,
So we'll see how that goes.
that's awesome. That would definitely be helpful, I'm sure, for a lot of people. I do know the association was trying to get some instructions out there on how to make the videos and etc. But anything that, you know, we can have multiple resources that may say it or spin it a little different might help other people. So that's great. So you mentioned a few instructors earlier. So what are some previous instructors you guys have had at the workshop?
Well, we've always had Tyler Fry, Mike Cole, and Hannah. And in the past, we've had Tim Marchant, Emily Bellafleur, myself, and that's it.
Okay. So you got Mike and Tyler coming back with you guys this coming year.
Yes.
24. Okay, great. So they're in Greensboro. And then it starts Friday evening.
No, Saturday. We'll get together Friday, get everyone settled in, see if there's anything they need, see if there's any last minute things they want. But we start bright and early, 8 o'clock Saturday morning.
So Hannah doesn't have any icebreakers set up for Friday night with a watermelon game? No?
That's pretty good.
The
No, Friday
watermelon
night,
game?
getting
No.
getting to say hi to everybody.
No, that's good though. Yeah, usually everybody's getting in, so that's good, especially if they're coming from far and away. I mean, that's definitely good time. And then Saturday morning, you guys get going pretty early, right?
8
Yep.
o'clock.
Good.
Do 4
Good.
hours, break an hour and a half for lunch, so folks can have a nice leisurely lunch, recover some, and do another 3 to 4 hours of classes, and then go to dinner.
And we go to dinner as a large group a lot of the times, and that's a nice time. Or we come back to the hotel and sit around and talk, and that's a good bonding time. It's great time not only for you to make connections with your instructors, but with other people in the same circumstances that you are.
True. So it's same thing on Sunday or kind of
Half a day on Sunday,
half a day?
because
Okay.
we've got folks I mean, when I first was thinking about doing this, I drew a circle on the map from Greensboro, figuring how long it would take folks how far they could drive for 5 hours and get here. And I figured that would be it.
Yeah.
And I think I posted it for about 3 weeks, and I got a phone call from some folks in Michigan that were going to drive down straight through, and they brought 11 people.
That's awesome.
So they got back sometime in the wee hours of Monday morning.
Yeah, those are pretty far trips. I know it takes 6 hours to get to Raleigh when I head over there, so that's about my that's my cutoff. So
That's
all right, you guys have got me hooked. So I want to switch from piping to tenor. So
Do it.
what do I need to do to attend this workshop, and where do I need to go?
Everything is on Facebook.
Okay.
There is a tenor and bass workshop Facebook page. It's also posted on a half a dozen or so other Facebook sites. But there's a link to the registration form, a link to the hotel. You just mail it in, show up on Friday night, Saturday morning with your tenor drum mallets, bass drum mallets, your harness, If you need a drum, we've got plenty of drums you can borrow. And a smile on your face.
Got it. So the hotel is actually where it's at, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha. So down in one of the banquet rooms or conference rooms they got.
We've got 3 banquet conference rooms reserved right now with a possibility to add a 4th, depending on the numbers.
Gotcha.
Andrew,
So yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to go to a class. I really appreciate you having me on today. Thank you, Russell, Mr. Smith. I really appreciate it, Rusty. Bye, Dermot. Bye, Martina. I'm sorry, guys. I just have to go attend this class.
Well,
Thanks, Anna. Have a good class.
Hannah,
Thank you.
I'll let you know when I get the video up, and I will put information on the video and on our YouTube about further information on the work.
And if you need to use my email address for anything, please let me know.
Okay.
You're welcome to it.
Will do. Thank you. Okay.
All
Thanks,
right.
Hannah.
Thanks, y'all.
Appreciate it. Thanks for your time, Hannah.
Let me know if I
Have
can do
fun.
anything else.
So Dermot, it's the weekend of 17 and 18 February in 2024, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So you need to have everybody registered by middle of January? Sometime around then?
Beginning of February is fine. I
Okay.
mean, one of the benefits of being the cheap cook and bottle washer is I can go with the flow.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's always good to give you guys a little bit of time though to help with the rates and numbers and classes and stuff like that though. So
Yep.
okay. So is there anything you want to throw out there for anybody, members or anybody to know about the workshop that they can kind of see or find out about?
Well, if they want to get some feedback from past attendees, feel free to post them any of the tenor drumming sites that you'll see on Facebook. Someone is always happy to tell you, or they can send a personal message to some of the folks that you see. I know my friend Ian from California is coming back again this year, and she's bringing friends with her, so, or is
Awesome.
trying to. So
That's awesome.
But I said before, I went to the Atlanta workshop. I went to the Martinez Delco workshops before, and I've gone to a couple others, and I learned what to do and what not to do. And one of the big things is no big parties on Saturday night. I literally had an instructor walk in on Sunday morning, swear up a storm, and walk out, never to be seen again. So
Interesting. Oh, Rusty, you got any final questions?
No, I hope that Dermot, that when I get everything done, and I will be sending an email out to the bands, because that's the best way to, because most of the tenors and basses play with bands.
yeah.
So I'm gonna get the information out, and I'm also going to include in the email a link to the registration form.
Thank you.
And hopefully we'll be able to drum up a lot of interest, because Lord knows we need tenors and basses now.
So say snares too, but someone else is going to have to run that workshop.
Well, yeah, but with a lot of bands, like I said earlier, because of COVID, they lost tenor drummers. A lot of bands couldn't compete. So
well, as a result of this, I talked to a lot of friends that are tenor drummers, and some of them, it's family situations that have stopped them. Others, it's bands have dissolved because lack of either pipers or snare drummers too.
right.
Yeah.
So
It's affected everybody.
Yep.
Yeah, true. Well, hey, Dermot, I really appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And for her jiu-jitsu class. hopefully we can, get this out and be a benefit to the workshop. I really appreciate you guys hosting this.
I
I
would
hope it's a
say
great
I
success.
appreciate very much wanting to do this for us.
Our pleasure.
Well, it
And
benefits it benefits the branch. It benefits our membership, and that's what we were trying to do, Dermot.
Yeah, and like I said before, it's not just geared towards folks that want to compete. It's folks, especially public service bands, because several of us have worked with public service bands because they just can't find any instruction anywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Should be for anybody and everybody. Yeah.
That's right.
yeah.
Well, Dermot, if there's anything else that we can do to help, please let us know.
Okie dokie.
Yes.
We'll certainly take that step to do that, because it's very important. It's very important, and we appreciate y'all's efforts very much to do this.
Well, I couldn't ask for 3 better teachers with Hannah, Mike, and Tyler, and the support they've given me from the beginning.
Awesome.
People told me I was crazy to do this, especially since other place. Hold on one sec.